My hair is getting too long and my beard is also. You know what? We're just going to move past that. Today we've got Gyarados VMAX, a really cool attacker. Let's jump over onto PTCGO and check out a deck list. So here is our Gyarados deck list, a very interesting one. I'm looking forward to getting it on the ladder. We'll see if we can get it to work. Firstly, let's talk about Gyarados VMAX. 330 HP is quite high, and it has two attacks that are pretty solid, and in combination, they can take two shots? It's two shots, because it's two attacks on other VMAXs. The first one, Hyper Beam, is probably the one we're going to use more frequently. 120 damage for 2 water and a colorless, plus we discard an energy from our opponent's active Pokemon. That's really strong to slow your opponent down, and it can potentially force them into interesting situations. We'll talk about that in just a second. Max Tyrant is another attack that we can utilize. 4 energy is a lot, but we deal 240 damage, which can be enough to get you across the line. It knocks out every single V in the game, apart from 1 or 2 that have 250 HP, which is too high. It's too much. But it's going to help you get those one-shots on most basics that are in the standard format right now. The attack that we're really interested in, however, is actually on the basic Gyarados V. For 2 water and a colorless, it has the attack Get Angry, which deals 20 damage times the amount of damage counters on your Gyarados. So in a format where lots of Pokemon are not taking one-shots, when you have a Pokemon like Gyarados VMAX that has 330 HP, you are going to get half hit lots of the time, and that means that you can utilize cards like Memory Capsule to utilize the Get Angry attack and take a big one-shot. We're going to see if we can get that to happen. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work, but it's definitely a decent little combo. We're going to power up our Gyarados with a 3-2 Frosmoth line. Frosmoth is obviously a very good water-type support Pokemon, allowing us to attach as many water energy as we like from our hand to our benched water Pokemon. So we're going to try and get this guy out as quickly as possible. Plus, we also have 1 copy of Suicune as one of those kind of extra attackers if we need to split that prize trade up a little bit. Plus, Fleet-Footed is very good for some consistency if we need it. Another interesting card before we head into a game is Old Cemetery. You don't really need to play this. I've put it in here because I think it's kind of neat. You can accelerate energy with your Frosmoth to your Gyarados on the bench, and then for every energy you attach, since Gyarados is a non-psychic Pokemon, you place 2 damage counters on that Gyarados. So if you attach 4 energy, you're going to be dealing 160 damage with Get Angry. It's pretty cool. I don't necessarily think that it's important. You don't need to have it, but it can boost your damage up just that little bit more to try and get some one-shots with your Gyarados VMAX. Overall, it's a very interesting deck list. We'll take it out onto the ladder and see if we can't get a game. But first, make sure you go down into the description, copy it into your own PTCGO account, and have a play the lists down there. And you could also like the video whilst you're there. This one took a long time to record. The games took ages, so yeah, I'd appreciate that. Let's begin. We'll see if we can get ourselves a solid game with this thing. Frankly, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work out, but we can definitely do some things. And this is the thing with Gyarados. It's kind of got a little bit of everything, but it's not necessarily very good at any of the things that it does. But we have managed to hit into Dragapult, which is good. We can definitely make the most of this. Dragapult is obviously a deck that cannot one-shot our Gyarados V. It cannot one-shot our Gyarados VMAX, so every attack that it deals into our Gyarados, we will be able to make the most of thanks to our Get Angry attack. This hand is garbage. We have supporters everywhere. Let's quick ball. I'm going to grab a Snom. We have everything that we need. We've got water energy, we've got memory thingy, we've got Frosmoth, we've got Snom, we're fine. So we're going to throw this down here. I'm going to attach an energy, and then I will research. Losing 2 boss's orders is very uncomfortable, but you know what, it's fine. Unfortunately, we have not drawn into anything interesting here, but we do have a second Snom, which means that barring an absolute miracle from our opponent, we should be okay to just pass here and potentially attack with a Gyarados next turn. We will see. Also, I've just looked at my camera, and good grief, my hair is all over the place. It's shocking. It's like I've just woken up, which incidentally I have. But you know what? Let's not worry about it. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to we're just going to progress forward with the game. So, our opponent has energy. They have double energy, and they also have a Dragapult ready to go. Do they have the VMAX? Do they have the Switch? If they have both of those things, they'll attack into our V, and then potentially knock out a Snom, which is obviously quite frustrating. Our hand does not lend itself to a particularly strong turn next turn either. They do have the Switch. Do they have the VMAX? No, okay. This is actually interesting here because it's actually given us a chance to potentially do a little bit of hard work. We can potentially get a knockout on this Dragapult this turn if we are lucky. So let's try and get lucky. We'll go into our VMAX. We will Quick Ball, I think. Let's Quick Ball the Marnie. We can grab ourselves like... I was going to grab Crobat. There's no Crobat here. I should not have gotten rid of the Marnie. Okay, well... Gyarados. Oh boy, we're in trouble now. Let's Escape Rope? I don't like any of the things that we're doing here. This is why you should check your prizes. We're going to Escape Rope. I'm going to force something else active, just so that they don't hit into our Gyarados VMAX again. I'm kind of happy with them having 140. What we might do is we might put the second Gyarados V into the active and see if we can't get them to hit into that as well. Then we may as well Skyla. It's our supporter of choice now. I'm going to Skyla for a research. Should have just used the Marnie in my hand, but it's okay. We'll pass here. Hopefully, it's as simple as they retreat, attack into the V in the active, and then put 5 damage on the Snom and take a knockout. Hopefully, that's what happens. Hopefully, they're going to go into the Dragapult. At the moment, they're dealing 140 damage. They've got a quick shooting Inteleon as well, and a boss. Oh, wow. Hang on. That's their last card. Okay, my terrible misplay into not playing the Marnie might actually pay off here. At the moment, we have enough damage to knock out the Dragapult V if we find energy and memory capsule, which we're capable of doing, and our opponent has no cards. So, let's give it a crack. We'll put the Evolution down and then research. We need those 2 cards for me, please. And we've got them. We've got an energy and we've got a memory capsule. This is not optimal gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. I am not playing well here at all, but we do have 3 energy onto another Gyarados on the bench now. It's all looking pretty good after whatever that opening kind of was. We can Ice Dance. We can throw those energies onto our Gyarados. We'll be able to have 3 energy there, which means we're 1 short of using Max Tyrant, which is beautiful. I'm just going to get angry here. We're going to deal a massive amount of damage to this Dragapult. 560 damage. Whew. It's pretty big. And we unprize a Crobat as well. So, barring a amazing top deck from our opponent, we are looking really, really strong here. We can attach, we can play down Suicune, we can Crobat. We don't want to play Marnie because our opponent does not have any cards. They've promoted the Inteleon, and they've managed to find Evolution Incense, so they will be drawing cards this turn. They're going to Shady Dealings Inteleon. Well, I mean, I can't be sad about that because they do have hundreds of outs, so it's not like it was impossible for them to do that, but could I not just have like a turn? Just one turn. Also, I've just realised that Gyarados is actually 50 damage off being knocked out. They're going to Raihan and research here. Okay, so the Raihan will be able to search them out a card. What is that card going to be? And we do know for a fact they have research in their hand. That card is going to be a Dragapult VMAX. Okay. Alright. We've got a boss in our deck somewhere. We're going to go hunting for it because if we find it, we can get angry and knock this Dragapult VMAX out, which I genuinely would like. We'll throw down that capsule, we'll throw down the Suicune, let's attach, and then we can Crobat. Hopefully we can find ourselves that boss. We can't. We've got 2 Marnies here, which is disappointing. Let's grab the Frosmoth. There was 1 boss left in the deck, but we didn't stumble upon it. Also, if I had have used Frosmoth's ability to attach that energy, instead of attaching it by hand, I could have just switched into the other Gyarados and attacked, and saved myself the one in the active for the VMAX later. But you know what? It doesn't really matter, does it? Let's switch. We're going to Marnie. We'll just give them a fresh hand. We know they have a research. They're going to be drawing cards anyway. And we'll see if we can't just come upon a boss's orders for later. And we've found one, which is fantastic. Let's retreat. We will go into our Gyarados. We will use Get Angry, deal 560 damage again, this time only for one prize, but we only need to take one more knockout, and we might actually be able to use Gyarados' other attacks to try and get there. Obviously, Hyper Beam, I mentioned before, very, very strong in its own right, so we can potentially slow our opponent down here, force them to use one Dragapult to attack instead of a couple, as we don't want that to happen, and we can also use Max Tantrum or Tyrant or whatever it was called, Max Tyrant, to take the final knockout if we need to. So we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. Obviously, it's not been optimal, but we have managed to fumble and stumble our way there. We're doing okay. They're going to max Phantom. They're going to place 50 damage, and they're probably going to take a knockout on the Frosmoth. Fair enough. Fair enough. But next turn, I don't think you can take two prizes, my guy. I don't think it's possible. So I am going to throw this Gyarados into the active. Unfortunately, the Old Cemetery hasn't come up in this game, which is disappointing. I would have liked to have shown that off as well, but you know what? It doesn't always happen. I will throw down the Memory Capsule. We'll play a Level Ball, grab a Snom. We can probably just, I think we just Hyper Beam, right? And we're going to discard the Horror Psychic Energy, because we don't want to take the damage. I don't know whether this interaction is correct, or whether it's just a PTCGO thing. But we don't take the damage from the Horror Energy when we discard it, thanks to the effect of that attack. So, a good move for sure. Now, our opponent can deal at most 130 damage to one of our Pokemon, so they can never knock out more than one prize this turn. They can attack into the Gyarados, which will give us access to our Get Angry attack to win the game. They can retreat into another Pokemon, which means that I need to find Energy and Boss to take a knockout next turn. Or they can just attack into one of, like, maybe they gust out the Crobat and hope that that's enough to win them the game. Maybe I don't have a switch left. So we'll wait and see what they do. Perilously, I will say that if our hand remains the same, we have an incredibly good chance of winning. But they will Marnie us, because I said that. It always, oh, no, they got a boss. Okay, so we have a pretty strong chance of winning here. We can retreat. We can switch into the Suicune and then retreat with the Air Balloon to give us an extra card. Oh, plus they've attacked with the active anyway. So all we need to do realistically now is just draw cards with research, and any energy will do. And we've got plenty of them in the deck, so I'm feeling relatively comfortable. In fact, we might... Oh, we could just top deck the Capture Energy anyway. How about that? That seems perfectly fine. We will retreat into Gyarados, and we can max Tyrant. In this game, we used every single attack that we could have. I think that worked out relatively well. I mean, hey, it wasn't perfect, but we still got the win. So now we've had ourselves a game with Gyarados, but how good is this thing really? I changed up our rating system just a smidgen, because I figured that there was a couple of things that were a little bit confusing, plus I ended up having overall grades that were Bs all the time, so we're not doing that anymore. We've got cost, power, and consistency. So how expensive is it, how powerful is it when it gets going, and how consistently does it get to that point? Overall, cost-wise, I'm giving it a C. It's kind of hard to tell how expensive things are on PTCGO right now, but there are a few expensive cards in the deck. I probably could have given this one a B, to be fair, but I'll give it a C for the moment. Power-wise, though, very, very strong when it gets going. If your Gyarados gets hit by a lot of damage, then you can one-shot anything in the game. But obviously it needs to do that consistently to be a good deck, and Gyarados does not do that. Your opponent can play around you really easily, and you need to obviously get your energy into play, which can be a struggle. Overall, if you're looking to play this one, play it casually, play it on the kitchen counter. It's probably not one for competitive play. So thank you very much everyone for coming past. Again, I always appreciate it when you're here. If you'd like to, go down into the description, leave a like, comment down below what types of decks you'd like to see next, and if you're up for it, join the channel, become a member. For less than $3 a month, you too can support the Sableyes YouTube channel, which I'd greatly appreciate. Apart from that though, I will leave you be. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.